Good morning, Otters. Hope you're all okay. Having a good week and getting on with all of your work and everything else that you need to do. So yesterday it was quite upsetting. They've managed to go into town. Obviously now Zelda and Felix are being disguised as Wilhelm and Violetta. Sorry, forgot her name then. And they saw some quite distressing images when they were in town. So we're still in town and we're going to see what happens next. Genia takes us to a shop on the other side of the square. On the door is a sign, no dogs or Jews. I hesitate. Don't dawdle, Wilhelm, says Genia. You're blocking the doorway. I go in and try to look like I couldn't care less about the sign. That sign isn't fair, says Zelda loudly. Our dog Leopold would have hurt feelings if he saw that sign. Behind the counter is a big woman with her sleeves rolled up. She does the sort of laugh people do when they're not really amused. My dog already got hurt feelings, she says, right around the time I decided not to waste any more food on it. Zelda stares at the woman, shocked. Wilhelm and Violetta, says Genia hastily. This is Mrs. Sinsky. Not sure if I said that right. Hello, I say politely. Hello, mutters Zelda. Mrs. Sinsky doesn't reply. She just looks me and Zelda up and down. Must have a lot of food to spare, she says to Genia. Oh well, your loss. She fiddles with her blonde hair for a while, then points to our egg boxes as if she's only just noticed them. How many eggs? She says. 14, says Genia. We all put our boxes on the counter and Mrs. Sinsky counts the eggs, picking each one up and peering at it closely. What do you want? She says, not looking at Genia. A coat and a hat each for the kids, says Genia. When they were bombed out, they lost all their winter clothes. Mrs. Sinsky looks scornful. For 14 eggs, she says. Not a chance. You can forget the hats for a start. 10 eggs for the coats, says Genia, with scarves. While Genia and Mrs. Sinsky haggle, I peer around the shop. It's full of amazing things. Furniture and piles of clothes and unusual shoes and stuffed animals and paintings and decorated plates and glass cases full of jewellery. Genia is holding Zelda's hand, but not mine. I wander around the shop, gazing at everything. Up the back, next to a pile of clocks, I find a polished wooden box. Inside are the shiniest knives and forks and spoons I've ever seen. Even shinier than the ones we used to have when I was little. I take out one of the spoons. I wish I could buy it for Genia. She's only got wooden ones. Put it back, hisses a voice. Guiltily, I put the spoon back. A boy of about my age leaps up from behind a rack of hanging suits and snatches the box. No touching the goods, he says in a bossy voice. That doesn't seem fair. Next to us, 2 burly farmers are trying on shiny red waistcoats. I open my mouth to point out that they're touching the goods. But I remember I'm Wilhelm, not Felix, and close it again. This is my family's shop, says the boy. You were going to steal that spoon, weren't you? He's glaring at me, his lips wet and his face pink. His hair is so fair I can even see the pink skin on his head. No, I say, I wasn't. Honest. I can feel my face going pink too, with panic. If he calls the police. The boy gives me a wet grin. Only kidding, he says. I stare at him, stunned. Can't you take a joke? He says, looking a bit offended. I pull myself together. Of course I can, I say, dizzy with relief. I hold out my hand. I'm Wilhelm Noack. I shake the boy's cold, damp hand. I'm Cyril, he says. Suddenly, he leans towards me like I'm his best friend. Hey, he says, tapping the cutlery box. Guess how much this cost? I haven't got a clue. Thousands of zloty, probably. Millions. 2 eggs, says Cyril. I wait for him to tell me he's only kidding again. From the dumb Jews, he says, grinning. My dad takes eggs and milk and bread over to that other part of town, you know, where we put all the Jews. What's it called? I don't know, I say. I do. It's called a ghetto. But I don't tell Cyril that. If he doesn't know, Wilhelm shouldn't. Anyway, said Cyril, pointing round the shop, the dumb Jews swapped all this stuff for bits of food. Perhaps they were hungry, I murmur, and immediately wish I hadn't. But Cyril hasn't noticed. He's grinning at me and licking his lips. His teeth are crooked and he's got a dribble problem. What's the difference between a Jew and a rat, he says. Don't know, I say, trying to be Wilhelm. Once you've got them out from under your floorboards, says Cyril, who cares? I can feel my face going pink again, with anger this time. I don't do anything silly, I beg myself, like opening the cutlery box and doing something to Cyril with a fork. Hey, says Cyril, stepping closer to me again like he's sharing another big secret. When Jews say their prayers, it makes cheese go mouldy. My dad told me. I struggle to be Wilhelm. Cyril looks at me for a moment. You're new, he says. I haven't seen you before. We've just moved here, I say. If you want, says Cyril, you can join my gang. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't join Cyril's gang if you gave me a whole box of cutlery and Oh, sorry, I lost my place. If you gave me a whole box of cutlery. I'm saved by a yelling voice. Cyril, come back here. You haven't finished this job. A teenage girl with blonde pigtails is sticking her head out of a back room and glaring at Cyril. His shoulders slump and he gives her a sulky look. Sisters, he says to me, scowling. They're worse than Jews. I nod. I don't trust myself to actually say anything. Cyril doesn't notice. He's too busy being indignant. I do everything around here, he says. I have to sort through all the new stuff that comes in. Half of it's junk. The Jews are always trying to cheat us. Cyril, yells his sister, furious. That's all Jew junk there, says Cyril, pointing to a big wooden crate as he walks off. I wait till Cyril's in the back room before I look in the crate. Perhaps there'll be something cheap in there that Genia needs. She might be able to add it to the coats for the same number of eggs. The stuff in the crate doesn't look like junk to me. There are cooking pots, shoes, ornaments, all sorts of things. A bit scuffed, but not bad. There's even a book. Okay, it looks like it's been in a fire. Some of the pages are a bit burned and... I pick it up and glance at the cover. My heart jolts. It's a Rickmore Crompton book. In Polish. Just like the ones I used to have. Except this is one I've never read. I try to be Wilhelm and drop it back into the crate, but I can't help it. I'm Felix, and I stuff it inside my shirt. Cyril said all this was junk, so I'm not really stealing. Yes, I am, but I don't care. Suddenly, I do care. A voice is screaming at me, a voice so angry I can't even make out the words. Is it Cyril? His sister? Mrs. Sinsky? I turn, weak with fear, and go even weaker. It isn't any of the Sinsky family. It's a Nazi soldier. He's got a rifle, and he's pointing at my head. And we are going to leave it there today. So, a bit of a cliffhanger, because I know you hate it when I do that. Anyway, hope you have a fantastic day, guys. Email me, just if you want to chat or anything. Let me know how you're getting on with your work, and I will check in with you tomorrow. See you later.